Hey everyone, happy Jojo Day! And today we're reviewing yet another episode. So we start off right with the sad backstory. And it's not a bad backstory. I kind of like that Abba was a police officer. It fits his stand, you know? So Abba's whole thing is he used to be a police officer because he always wanted to be a police officer. He had a nice sense of justice, you know? Everyone in Jojo gotta get that sense of justice. But he was pretty unhappy with the citizens who he was serving all the time. People were very ungrateful to him. Although, to be fair, in the clip that they showed, it kind of made sense. He was just kind of standing around. Some kids threw rocks at his car. He went after the kids. And while he was going after the kids, somebody else had their bike essentially stolen. And the guy was angry that, you know, the police officer was right there and he didn't do anything about it or didn't notice it even until the woman screamed, you know? I'm not saying that Abba could have done anything or would have done anything different because, you know, kids throwing rocks at your car and breaking the windshield, that's ballsy. Those kids have some brass balls on them. Here in America, you do that, you get shot. I'm over-exaggerating for comedic effect. But, you know, it makes sense for the guy to be angry that the police officer was literally right there and didn't notice or didn't do anything about it. And, sometimes you just gotta let those people blow off steam and not take it so personally, you know? The guy who was yelling at him probably didn't even know that there were some kids, you know, throwing rocks at his car. All he saw was, hey, you were right there the whole time, why didn't you help us? But moving on from that scene, so he starts to notice that a lot of actual criminals who get arrested and who he's arresting just get out on bail because, you know, they got the moolahs. So when he notices that, hey, criminals will just get out anyway because they got money, maybe I should start taking the bribes. So criminals are offering him bribes to let it go, and he figures, well, either I get the money or the government gets the money. Either way, who cares anymore, you know? So he starts taking the bribes, and the one guy who he takes the bribe from ends up shooting a guy and robbing his store. If only Abba knew that with great power comes great responsibility. It seemed as though Abba was thinking about letting him go again because he was too worried that he would get in trouble for taking the bribe. You know, he was using that against him. He's like, well, you took bribes from me. I could get you fired and blah da 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 da. You gotta let this go, man. Don't shoot me. And his other friend steps in because this scummy guy has a gun. And his other friend steps in and he takes the shot. The criminal guy gets shot but lives, and his police officer friend dies from the bullet. And they do find out about the bribes and about all the shady stuff that Abba was doing. So he loses his job, plus now he has his friend's death hanging on his shoulders. Poor Uncle Ben. But now we're back in the present. We're back on the boat. So his stand, Moody Blues, has the ability to take someone, right, and replay a certain amount of time before whatever event happened. So Moody Blues mimics Narantia before he got captured. So it's going through everything that he was doing beforehand. It's actually a very, very useful ability, especially for a police officer. It would be a very useful ability. It's a shame he didn't have that ability while he's a police officer because it's like, imagine all the investigations, all the mysteries and crimes you could have solved with that. But yeah, very useful. So they basically figure out, yeah, very useful, and they can also hear what was going on around Narantia while seeing what Narantia was doing and all the things being done to him. So right when he gets captured, he gets the wound straight into his shoulder, and what the dagger is doing, I thought it might have been sucking, you know, sucking Giorno of his fluids or something like that. But it looks like what it was actually doing, it was popping them like a balloon and basically just pushing out all the air from them and making them deflated. So what they're thinking now is that the stand user deflated Narantia and like sucked him through the pipes because they're noticing the pipes are there. Abba decides that he's going to send Moody Blues down the pipes and look for them. So he goes down the pipes, goes down all the way around, and as soon as the fly, because the fly is still showing where the stand user is, So the fly starts approaching them, and he's like, all right, now you unzip the pipes, and we'll bring them out. You know, we'll beat the crap out of them. But Bruno goes to unzip the pipes, and not only is the stand user not there, neither is Moody Blues. Nobody's there. Nothing's there. So they're extremely confused, because the fly is right there, but they don't see jack shit. And he gets his stand to, like, punch the pipe, and they hear it. They hear the pipe, but they don't see it in the pipe. So he's like, what's going on? And then Abba figures it out. But before he can tell Bruno about it, he gets deflated. And he cuts himself, and he leaves this blood trail for Bruno to kind of give him a clue. So Bruno takes sticky figures, and he starts punching at the ground, you know, kind of frustrated, like, where did you put them? And finally he hears the voice of the stand user. And it's kind of interesting how they did it. They did it as if the fly was talking to Bruno, because the fly is basically representing where the stand user should be, but he's not showing up. So in a way, because this fly is basically representing the enemy, the fly has, like, become the enemy. And it's like when you're hearing his voice, you're seeing the fly as if the fly is talking to you. It's kind of interesting. And boosh! The water comes up. It turns out, ooh, plot twist, Bruno was not punching at the ground to find Abba and the others. He was punching at the ground to open a hole in the boat and start sinking everything, because he realized what Abba had then realized. And this is kind of a weird plot twist, but okay, I'll accept it. The user deflated another boat and covered that boat in their boat. So there was a layer of another boat on top of this boat the whole time. And what he was doing when he was dragging them between the layers. And he was going between the layers to attack and then drag them back. So that's why they couldn't see in the pipe where they were, because there was the wrong pipe that they were in. So the boat peels off, and the stand user finally comes out. But, you know, the user's like, hey, I got your friend here. I'm gonna stab him unless you tell me where it is, you know, because he's tired of this shit. He's like, you know what? I've been hiding and attacking for 2 episodes now. I'm just gonna stab him if you don't tell me where he is. Getting close to shore, I want to know where the treasure is. Just tell me. Bruno's super cocky. He's like, bitch, I will give you 1 chance to let my friends go, and I will let you live. But if you don't, no mercy. And they stare at each other dramatically for a while, but then he decides, yeah, fuck it, I'm just gonna stab his friends. Of course, Bruno unzips his arm, punches him right in the throat, head area, and then unzips his head from his body. I guess it's possible that this guy is still alive, because I know that when Bruno unzips part of your body, it doesn't actually kill you, per se. Unless he, like, undoes the zipper and it's just his head detached from his body now. Although it would be kind of funny if he's not dead, but they just carry around his head. They have his head, right? And they just take his body and they just throw it in the ocean. It just has to be a head for the rest of the series. But it was never actually confirmed in the episode whether or not he killed him or if he just left him unzipped like that, so I have no idea. All of you manga readers probably know, all ahead of me. Yeah, the last scene we see before roll credits is Abba being reinflated. They kind of smirk at each other. I'm assuming that, of course, everyone else was brought out of the pipes or between the layers or wherever the heck they were. I don't know, because they only showed Abba in that last scene, and it's like, well, everyone else is fine too, right? Of course we know that everyone else is fine, come on. And they're close to shore now, so I guess their boat is going to go into a dock pretty soon. Because they mentioned the seagulls, or, well, they weren't actually seagulls, they were, what, blacktail gulls? They mentioned that because there were so many birds around, they were coming close to shore. So, yeah. I guess that's it's probably where the next episode is gonna go. I mean, I can't imagine a 3rd episode of them just being on a boat at sea. Unless another, like, big boat with a bunch of stand users just comes in like a pirate ship and starts raiding theirs. But yeah, good episode. I like Abba. He's cool. I think his ability, it kind of fits him. I feel bad for Abba, though, because of his backstory of being a police officer. He obviously would make an even better police officer now that he has the stand ability, and the fact that he's just not going to get a second chance at it kind of makes me upset, but it's like, you've got friends. Who knows? Maybe at the end of this whole series, he'll find a way to get back enrolled in being a police officer. Or maybe he'll just not. I mean, it is kind of his fault that he got fired. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Remember to like and comment below. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!
Program restart.